roll? Thanks for the Christmas gift, by the way. I appreciate it. Air Force, obviously a very distinct style of play. I think outside of us, it's probably the most distinct style, or maybe we're just both different distinct styles of play. I think we try and accomplish what they do, particularly this season for us. We're just doing it in different ways. They're obviously very methodical. I think they're like 250th in the country in pace, or right around there, and we're 40-something. So we're going to be trying to speed the game up and attack, both defensively and offensively. And I think they're going to be obviously trying to slow the game down and make it much more methodical. Theoretically, it's a good matchup for us from the standpoint that our weakness defensively right now is one-on-one defense, and we really try and pressure you and take you out of the stuff that you do, and inevitably that breaks down into someone just going one-on-one against us in some matchup here or there, and that their offense necessarily isn't built that way. So we have to go out and do it in practice. Very well-coached team, very disciplined team, very tough team. They take a lot of charges, and surprisingly, they'll create a lot of turnovers as well. Spent some time today on just making sure we take care of the basketball and don't give them easy stuff. And it's just a new style of play to get used to. We've tried to spend as much time on the court and in the film room to get everybody else caught up. We have 4 returners that play that have ever seen Air Force before, and no one else even knew what Air Force was, what they do, or anything about their style of play. So just trying to get all those other guys caught up on what this game is from a style perspective and how this game's going to get executed. But until you really go out there and play, it's one thing to talk about and another thing to do. I was actually just telling Rob, this is the first game we've played where we actually have another team that's played them very similar to us, and that's Army. It's been very difficult this year to show film to our guys because no one else really plays the way we do. We talk about what we're going to do in theory, but we can't actually show any film or do anything kind of similar in our scouting from somebody else. But Army, presses all game, pressures all game, shoots a lot of threes, and spreads the floor. So it's really good to finally have an opponent with a game film of like, okay, this is how they've reacted to this before, or this is the things that Army did, and maybe some things we can steal or some things we can do differently. That's really about where we're at right now. No update on Connor. I know that's probably going to come up. I realize, and I've done this twice now, I said when he first got hurt, we'd have an announcement in the next few days, and it turned into a very long time after that. And at the time, I was giving you the best information I could. And at the time when I said we'd have a decision on Connor in the next few days, I genuinely at the time thought we would. We're just kind of working through some other things with him that until we kind of get solidified, the decision to redshirt or not is still kind of up in the air. So I'm hopeful that's going to come sooner rather than later. No other injuries to report. Everybody's eligible. And really looking forward to conference play. It's my first time coaching in the Mountain West, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it, and hopefully we'll have a good conference season.
Still the Princeton offense matchup zone kind of thing?
You know, they're not zoning as much. It's more of just a really packed-in man-to-man defense. They will do some zone here and there. I know in the past, I think I played them last year, and they played a lot more zone maybe than they are this year. But right now it's really just a condensed man-to-man defense that's going to pack it in, take away the paint, and give up the three. And that's another part of this game. I think they're 9th in the country as far as giving up threes, and I think we're 10th in the country as far as taking threes. So that element right there is a big part of this game. Are they going to continue to give us the three-point shot? And if so, are we going to be able to make those shots? Because they're not going to give you much around the rim. They really pack it in and play a condensed style defense, whether it's their zone or their man-to-man.
Obviously, size is always an issue or a deficiency for them. I'm looking at the roster. They have 1'6'9" that doesn't play much, a couple 6'8s. As usual, they don't have much size. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Yet they still have positive rebounding margin. Is that just style? They're not trying. They're not giving up offensive boards with wide.
Yeah, I think they just pack it in so much defensively that they're saying they're going to give you the three-point shot. Like I said, I think they're 9th in the country at giving up threes. So I think their philosophy is let's keep everything out of the paint easy, no layups, no easy shots, no rebounds. Let's make teams shoot threes.
And with that, though, how much of a temptation? I know you guys want to shoot threes, but when another team is asking you to do that,
No question.
is there a temptation for your guards to maybe get even more than you want?
Yeah,
those
no, I
shooters?
mean, at the end of the day, we still want to play inside out. You know, we talk about that a lot. We want to be able to play through the post. Even if that doesn't mean we play through the post to score, it's at least playing through the post to kick out and get open shots when they either double the post or front the post or whatever it is that they're going to do. So we have to make sure we're looking inside out first. We're not just going to come down and settle for threes. At the same time, I never want our team to be gun shy. I never want to take away confidence from shooters. I never want to turn down an open shot. So if we're passing the ball and we're moving it around and we happen to take 3 or 4 straight threes and they don't go down, I'm not going to be the guy saying we're not shooting threes anymore. Live by the 3, die by the 3, however you want to kind of comment on it. I've never wanted any of these players to not feel confident when they shoot the ball, whether it's a 3, a free throw, whatever it may be. Shooting's about confidence to me, and I want them to feel confident when the ball leaves their hands.
How important is it, you know, to a good start in conference and protect your own floor?
We just want to win, man, you know, and right now, all we're thinking about is Air Force. We haven't talked about anything else in this league, in this travel, in anything. All we're focused on is Air Force. And after Air Force, we'll worry about the next game. But right now, it's really about just getting the next game. And this is a game that if we play really hard and we imprint our style onto the game, I think we can be successful. We have to go out and do it now. And Air Force is obviously very weathered. They're tough. They're experienced. They have a coach who's been around this league a long time. And we have to go out and get the job done.
Talk about consistency coming in 2 wins coming into this conference matchup. I mean, do you see a little bit more continuity with your team?
I hope so. We need it, man. We need it back. I talked to him about it on Christmas night when we practiced. I felt like, you know, some wind got taken out of our sails at New Mexico State. You know, like we won those first 2 games, and I think everyone in the locker room thought we were going to be a top 5 team in the country. We were on cloud 9, and we lost 1 game on the road. And it hurt us, and then we went to Tennessee Tech, and we've never really got that groove back since, you know, and that's on me, that's on them, but like we've got to get that back. We've got to get back that confidence, that excitement, that joy, just kind of like feeling good out there playing basketball and having fun. And I haven't really quite seen that yet. We've had our moments, we've done some good things, but we haven't played like we did in those first 2 games of the year, regardless of opponent. You know, regardless of opponent, I just haven't felt that. And we have to get that back. And hopefully these 2 wins is a start, but I think it's going to have to keep going to get it back.
I know you keep kind of reiterating that we're just on to the next game sort of mentality, but you guys do have symbolically a fresh start, a 0-0 when league play starts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you at all talk to them, or have you earlier in the season talked to them about once we get to league play, we hope we're clicking? I mean, do you address them in any way as this is an opportunity for a fresh start?
You know, the only thing I've talked about, and sometimes I like talking about it and sometimes I don't, is like we're geared for 3 games in March. Like that's what we're trying to do. I'm sorry, 3 or 4. Like just gearing up for those games in March. Our style of play, our conditioning, our depth is building itself for the back half of the season. When other teams get worn down, when other teams have their injuries, when other teams don't have all the scouting time to prepare for us, we're going to be going into a Mountain West Conference tournament. Hopefully we're fresh. And even right now, we get to the end of games, and I think we're still fresh. That's not a good thing. We have to play harder. But like right now, I don't think there's anyone that's breaking down. I don't think there's anyone that's like, Coach, I need a day off. Like we're fresh. We're good. We just have to keep this up. We've talked about a war of attrition and just keeping that fight going, man. You know, and we can't get too up or down on one game or one day. We just have to keep fighting the fight, staying healthy, keeping our style of play, staying committed to what we do. And as these other teams hopefully start to fracture and get hurt and get tired and wear down, and we keep chipping away at what we do, well, now in March, hopefully we can have some fun.
You say you're a second half team, this is the second half of the season. Is this sort of big picture of what you're trying to do with this team as an identity?
I hope so. I mean, the last thing I want to say is like I'm behind the losses. You know, like that was never an intent. I never want to lose a Tennessee. I never want to lose these games. We want to win them all. But at the end of the day, how we're built because 6 through 10 are playing 15 minutes a game. You know, and we're built by that. And you look at some of these other teams that play a lot of guys really heavy minutes, and the breakdown over the course of the year and what that's going to entail to them. And hopefully, as long as we do what we do, then when it all gets said and done down in March, then we'll be where we want to be. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not trying to win right now. That doesn't mean we're not trying to work our butts off to win this next game. I don't want to kind of construe that. But as far as if we've ever talked about anything, we've talked about, hey, man, we're built for March. Like that's what this style of play is. You can't scout it. You don't have time to go through it. You have to play it on no prep and ready to go out and roll, not 4 days to go over your press offense before you play us.
Talked about on Friday that you're not letting these guys off the hook defensively. They're going to play the style, they're going to play man. Where have you seen the progression and still I guess some of the weaknesses that are bothering you?
I think there's a little bit of progression rebounding. I think we've done a little bit better of a job there. Not great, but I think it's gotten kind of incrementally better since the first New Mexico State game. I think we've slowly kind of improved there. Our fouling is still a bit of an issue, and that's really just getting overmatched one-on-one. Some of these one-on-one matchups just aren't great, and we have to do a better job as coaches as far as getting us out of those matchups, and that's something that we're working on right now. But theoretically, against Air Force, those are good matchups for us because they're not built to really play one-on-one. So right now, all we're focused on is Air Force, trying to do whatever we can to win this basketball game, and then we'll go into the next game and try and do the same thing for that.
Coach, what about the free throw shooting? It seems like we're really shooting free throws really well lately, and that can be very important in close games. There's something that we're doing that just seems like we're making it all the time.
Yeah, we talked about it early in the year. I think it was Drummond for the Pistons. His free throw percentage is up like 30%, and they asked him why, and he just said he got in better shape. And we've talked about that since the fall. Like when you're in good shape and you get to the free throw line, the ball's going to go in. If you're not in good shape and you get to the free throw line, you're tired. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to use our conditioning, which right now is helping us at the free throw line. I think some teams we've played, like TCU, like they were missing shots down the stretch. And that's the idea, that we're in better shape. You miss your free throws when it counts, we make ours, and we're just able to hopefully kind of narrow those gaps.
I'm curious, you're halfway through the season, and I know you had a blueprint to start this thing off, but how much different is it now as to what you thought it would be when you started this thing?
You know, it's not a lot different overall. I think there's some specifics with things that we're doing that we've changed, particularly offensively. We've had to find a way to guard one-on-one defense and use, because we play such a unique style, we don't get to practice against certain things that when we play against each other every day. And we've had to find some creative ways to duplicate what other teams do to us. And when you practice that so much, you may as well put it in yourself. So we've put in some things that opposing teams do to us just because we're spending so much time practicing it. I think that's changed us a little bit. And I think obviously the Connor injury changed some things a little bit. Early on, we were in this nebulous period of like, he's coming back, he's not coming back, what do we do? And then eventually it was like, okay, he's not coming back, so we've got to make some changes, we've got to make some adjustments. And from there, I think we've gone down a little bit of a different path, just because, again, you're looking at just a smaller team, and a little, not that we thought we were going to be the biggest team in the country going into the season, but when you lose a 6'10" kid off of a pretty small team, it just puts a little bit of additional challenges onto you.
Is the Air Force game the game every year that the coaches are sore after practice? I saw your guys stretching. And,
Good call.
I mean,
good call.
You guys are going to be complaining. And
Yeah, very good call.
You weren't.
Again,
though. The head coach doesn't.
No,
have to
you're
do it.
right. Well, again, we had to duplicate what they do, and I can't teach 5 guys. We have 4 players on this team who's ever even seen Air Force before, so we needed to find 5 guys that at least could understand what Air Force does and then practice guarding it. And the coaches were going to do a better job than the players, because half of them wouldn't really know what's going on. So we had some coaches out there running around, running the Air Force offense, and we were guarding it defensively. But you're right. That's usually how it's been gone here lately. Yep, no question. Thanks, guys.
Moving forward with press conferences, if we have players available, we'll have 1 or 2 join us after coach. So today we have Joe Persinger. Questions for Joe?
Hey, Joe, actually, just to follow up what we were just talking about with the coaches, it's kind of fun when the coaches get out there. I know you guys aren't really banging bodies exactly like a game or anything, but when the coaches get out there, I know you guys like talking some trash a little bit. Is it fun when the Air Force Scout comes around and the coaches are involved?
Yeah, definitely. I always like competing against the coaches, so it's fun.
Who have been some of the better coaches through the years, this year or in the past that have?
Jerome's pretty good, but Wrench always used to talk a lot of trash, and Huss is also pretty good. And Coyote's pretty good.
Huss can hit those shots, right?
Yeah.
So how do you help your teammates? You've seen it, you've been here 4 years, you played against them there and here. How do you help your teammates to get ready for what they're going to see?
Probably just communication. Like with this team, you always have to communicate like switches and everything. Like with our style of defense, like just communication is probably the biggest key.
So the last 2 games, you kind of talked about how the guy defending you wasn't what it's been a lot of this season, and you had your big games because of it. But what Air Force does, they may not have the size, so you're going to see that again. Yeah. But because they pack it in so much, do you have to, all of a sudden, Joe Persinger maybe has to not be as looking to score as much because they are going to be packing it in?
I mean, I'll just see what they give me, and I'll like make reads during the game and see whatever works the best.
What are the coaches telling you after these last couple games? Are they telling you keep it, like, just keep looking to score, or?
I guess, yeah. I mean, they haven't really told me that much, but I mean, I'll stay aggressive always and not be tentative.
What's the biggest thing you've learned about this team at this point in time? There's so much new, whether it was coaches, your teammates. What do you think is the biggest thing you've taken from this group right now?
I mean, that we've even though we went on a few losing streaks, we've all like stuck through it, had a positive attitude, and just stuck through it through these losing streaks, and hopefully we get on a winning streak now.
What does starting league play mean to you? I know Coach talked about building towards the end of the year. Does starting league play, does this game start to change anything for you?
I mean, not really. It's just another game, but it's obviously the start of league, which is important to us, and hopefully we can do pretty good in league this year. I mean, it's a new season, kinda.
Do you feel like the new coaches this year have improved your game? It looks like you've been more offensive minded and stuff. And can you tell us a little bit about how they maybe have improved your game?
Just with all the workouts I've been through, and then with their new weight coach, who's definitely helped a lot. Also, I feel like just getting my confidence back has helped a ton. And then all these workouts in the summer, in the preseason, and we keep on doing it throughout the season also. So I feel like just my confidence is way up.
You know, you go on the basket a lot more too, which in the past you've always been kind of hesitant, but that's really an important part of the game. So that's kind of good to see you doing that.
Thank you.
What do you guys do to fill space during Christmas? I mean, obviously practice, you guys do things like that, but what's the team do to get through?
Just stick together. Like, we got to go home for like a day and a half, but we just got back on Christmas Day and had practice and like stuck through it. Just hung out really.
Anything else for Joe? Okay.
Thank you.